Nerf this!
Okay. What's going on, everyone? My name is Legit Bread. I post a new Nerf video every Saturday. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any new content. So it all starts off with a Strongarm. I found a used one at Goodwill for a few bucks and I decided I wanted to make a D.Va inspired cosmetic and performance mod using this blaster. To begin, I took out all the screws in the blaster, stripped it of all its structural integrity. I pried open the shell of the Strongarm and proceeded to gut it like a tuna. I had to be careful and make sure I didn't lose track of all the screws, springs, and other parts. A magnet is your best friend when trying to keep track of your screws. To take apart the barrel, there were two deep screws holding it together, so I had to use a longer screwdriver to remove those. The screws were super tight in there, so I even had to use some pliers to give me enough leverage to loosen and remove them. I opened the barrel to finally reveal the dart posts. These reduce the amount of airflow to the dart, so obviously we want to rip them out to improve range. These were easily snipped off with the use of needle nose pliers. With everything disassembled, it was time to start the paint job process. I started rough, using 120 grit to sand off the parts of the Strongarm that I wanted to paint. I tried my best to sand off any logos and writing, stuff like that. After that, I used a sanding sponge to help smooth out the surfaces while still providing that grit and roughness needed for the spray paint to stick. I soaked and rinsed every part to remove any dust and debris and let everything dry in the sun, like sun-dried tomatoes, except these aren't tomatoes. I'm sorry, I haven't gotten a lot of sleep these past few days. I used a total of 4 different spray paints for this entire cosmetic mod: Krylon Black, Pink and Blue, and Rust-Oleum Matte Gray. For the main shell, I wanted to paint the grip a different color from the rest of the blaster, kind of like what we see with D.Va's light gun. So I used some masking tape and paper to isolate the parts to spray paint black. For the gray, I bought Rust-Oleum chalked matte gray spray paint to color the barrel, trigger, and other parts to match the chrome parts of the light gun. I have to say I absolutely love the look and feel of this paint. It was expensive, but the result was excellent. After a couple more layers of black, I was happy with the shells. I took off the masking tape. It turned out pretty clean, so it was time to cover it up and paint the rest of the shells with this really bright, awesome D.Va pink color I bought. While I waited for everything to dry, I headed back inside and started the performance modifications. I disassembled the plunger tube to get to the post inside and snapped that useless thing off using needle nose pliers. I fired up my hot glue gun and used it to dab a bit of glue on the tiny air release hole to plug it up. To also create a better seal, I wrapped Teflon tape underneath the O-ring. So that was pretty much everything for the performance mod, pretty simple. I reassembled the plunger mechanism and went back outside to continue the spray paint process. The pink turned out great, but my masking tape job wasn't the best. There was some obvious paint bleeding between the pink and black border, and I managed to accidentally get some pink paint on the grip. I went back outside, tried to fix that up, and then I realized I wasn't too happy with my color scheme. Black grip, black priming mech, I thought that was just too much, so I sprayed the priming mechs gray instead. If you take a look at D.Va's gun, you can see that some parts of the chrome gray have this blue tint to it, and I wanted to replicate that. Using Krylon Blue, I sprayed a light layer to get some specks on the gray pieces. There's also some green accenting on the light gun, so I tried to mimic that with simple acrylic paint. It's super easy to work with since I could easily wipe it up, and I could work around all these grooves and curves and edges in the Strongarm shell. This process was fun and time consuming at the same time, but it really helped highlight the little details on the blaster to make it pop out more. I also used some black acrylic paint for certain details. With everything done, it was finally time to reassemble everything. Oh, and because I got a lot of spray paint on parts of the barrel pieces that didn't need to be painted, it was impossible for the two halves to come together smoothly. I wasted more than an hour trying to figure out what was wrong and scratching off excess paint until I finally forced the two halves together. So yeah, this lesson taught me to be careful of what gets spray painted because it could really bite you in the ass later on when you try to put your blaster back together. Alright everyone, this is the completed Overwatch D.Va Nerf Gun. Just as a disclaimer, this is only the second cosmetic Nerf Gun mod I've ever done. It's not the cleanest, not the best, but I'm still happy with it. Go ahead, you can cringe at my work, leave constructive criticism if you want, but just don't be a dick, that's all I'm saying. We got that awesome bright pink making up the majority of the body, accented with green to show off some minor details. I admit it, I went overboard with the blue layer on top of the gray pieces. It's really hard to match that blue tint like you see in the photo, and I didn't really get the result I was hoping for. Still, I think the splatter design is neat and blue is cool, so yeah, that's my defense. Performance wise, this blaster works great. It's fully functional and it even fires neon green projectiles like D.Va's light gun in Overwatch. Close enough. To top it all off, we got a couple of keychains dangling from the grip. We got a plush bunny and a D.Va keychain to make it obvious that I attempted to make a D.Va inspired Nerf gun. I didn't have all the proper colors or enamels or skill set to fully realize this project, but overall I'm still proud of the work I did. It was a lot of fun, and honestly that's the whole goal of this project.
GG!
Thanks for watching, everyone. If you want to check out all my Nerf videos in existence, click the card in the top corner. For more entertainment, check out my 3,500 round Nerf Nemesis Hopper mod and top 15 Nerf products you didn't know existed. Also, if you want to buy Nerf gear, links are in the description. Once again, thank you so much, and I'll see you all in the next one.